You know, one of the things that you maybe don't want to say if you're trying to convince other people about how cognitively stable you are is to make a completely outlandish claim like doctors who gave me a cognitive test were shocked at how well I did on it. That's essentially exactly what Donald Trump said to Sean Hannity on Fox News the other night during the same interview in which he failed to answer the same questions from a few weeks ago a second time. So let's look at the clip and then discuss it.
He didn't mean that because he hasn't taken any cognitive tests because he couldn't pass one. I actually took one when I very recently when I was, the radical left was saying, "Is he all there? Is he all there?" And I proved I was all there because I aced it. I aced the test. And he should take the same exact test, a very standard test. I took it at Walter Reed Medical Center in front of doctors, and they were very surprised. They said, "That's an unbelievable thing. Rarely does anybody do what you just did." But he should take that same test. But no, he has been totally taken over.
Is the constant bragging about really odd things wearing anybody else down? And there's a lot to break down here. But as usual, aside from Trump lying all the time, when Trump goes hyperbolic, you can be extra sure that he's lying. Doctors were surprised. Rarely does anybody do what I did on a cognitive test. What? And the whole context of this is that the right is trying to frame Joe Biden as having dementia. We on the left have had concerns about Trump's cognitive state for years, and we don't know whether it's related to cognitive decline in the form of early stage Alzheimer's or dementia, side effect of some prescription medication, drug use. There's many different ideas going on. And there's many examples that point to this, the verbal glitches that coincide with the shoulder spasms, Trump not recognizing Rudy Giuliani when Giuliani was right in front of him, Trump talking about the oranges of an investigation, Trump getting off of Air Force One in front of his car and wandering off and having to be brought back by a Secret Service agent, Trump having to be helped down the ramp after his West Point speech, like dozens and dozens of these. And what they're doing is trying to turn it back on Biden, saying Biden sounds lost. He doesn't know where he is. He's hiding from the campaign trail in his basement because of cognitive decline. Biden recently said, "I'm fine and I've been tested." They reacted by saying, why would Biden be tested for cognition? And yet now Trump is saying, I've been tested and I did incredibly well on my cognitive test. He even was given a lollipop on the way out and was able to get a second scoop of ice cream that night. What test is he referring to, first of all? We don't know. If Trump is referring to the Montreal Cognitive Assessment, as far as we know, he got that test a couple of years ago. This is a simple test, 30-point test that takes 10 minutes. It's really only good for identifying very serious issues with basic memory, recall, and executive function, and just being oriented in time and place. So the 30 points come from, for example, the clock drawing task. You get 3 points. I would say to you, draw a clock and show me what the hands look like when it's 6:15. That you get 3 points for that. Copy, not even draw from memory, copy a three-dimensional cube. That's a point. I would ask you, where are we right now and what's today's date? That's 20% of the score. You have to identify 3 animals, okay? So if that's the test Trump is referring to, he took it a long time ago, and it doesn't really tell us very much. Claiming to have aced it is like saying, I aced a colonoscopy, right? Like these are screening tools for serious cognitive decline, and it wouldn't rule out any of what's being explored with Donald Trump. Now, to go back to, I took it recently at Walter Reed. That's actually a part of this that's not being discussed. As far as we've been informed, Trump hasn't gone to Walter Reed for medical evaluation. He was there recently, I think, visiting troops, but he hasn't been to Walter Reed for medical care since that day last year when he was weirdly rushed there and Walter Reed said, we didn't know he was coming. And what we were told was, oh, he had a few hours free and we decided to go and get him a jump on his 2020 physical. It wasn't believable then, but as far as we know, that's the last time Trump was there. And as far as we know, he didn't get the Montreal Cognitive Assessment that day. It was actually back in 2018 or even 2017. So none of it makes sense. It's all very concerning. And again, doctors have never seen anything like my results on a cognitive assessment. It's the hyperbole that immediately signals that Donald Trump is lying. Let me know what you think is behind all of this. And remember that you can get the David Pakman Show audio podcast for free. This is available to everybody every day on whichever is your favorite podcasting platform. If you use the iPhone podcasts app, beautiful. If you're on your desktop computer and you like Spotify, perfect. It's available everywhere. Make sure you're subscribed for free to the daily podcast to get the full show every day, right around 3 p.m. Eastern. Almost all American journalism is controlled by a few massive corporations, and NewsVoice is a one-of-a-kind mobile app that tracks the bias and corporate interests that infuse the news stories we consume every day, and it's totally free to use. It's a great tool to have on your phone. NewsVoice is not funded by advertisers or corporate investors. The platform is supported by contributions from users like you. The NewsVoice app will have some really excellent new features soon, specifically for the 2020 election, but they're wanting to expand their team of independent journalists. In order to keep everything running, they're offering special rewards to anyone who wants to give to their new Kickstarter campaign, which can be found at newsvoice.com/kick. Giving a contribution will come with rewards like insider access to group chats with NewsVoice staff members, as well as access to a variety of special features. Go see what NewsVoice is all about.